A warm July evening in 1926, tensions simmer on a single block in Harlem, New York City. In the fading light, residents on East 115th Street brace themselves. An explosion of anger is about to erupt right outside their stoops. Police officers crouch in alleyways and behind corners, hearts pounding. For half an hour, this one block will become a battleground. This is the story of the one-block riot of 1926. A confrontation so contained, yet so intense, that it shook an entire neighborhood. To understand that night, we step back into Harlem of the 1920s, a bustling mosaic of cultures. Long-established Jewish families live door to door with newer Puerto Rican immigrants. Jobs are scarce, housing is cramped, and suspicion hangs in the air. Small skirmishes have flared for months, scuffles on sidewalks, bottles tossed from rooftops, each incident adding fuel to the fire. Each side fears the other is encroaching on their turf. By late July, tempers are nearing a boiling point. A rumor grips the neighborhood. A large gang of Puerto Rican youths is planning to invade a Jewish block, specifically East 115th Street between Lenox and Park Avenues, to teach the longtime residents a lesson. Many dismiss it as idle talk, but as Monday, July 26, 1926, wanes into evening, an uneasy hush falls over 115th Street. Families shutter their windows, shopkeepers pull down their grates early. The very air seems to hold its breath. Police precinct radios crackle with warnings of possible trouble in Harlem. In an era with no 911 system, word of mouth and a few phone tips to police headquarters are all the authorities have. But it's enough, the NYPD isn't taking chances. Inspector Thomas Ryan, commanding officer for Harlem, quietly mobilizes a force of officers. By nightfall, he has reserves from 4 precincts positioned around the endangered block. Dozens of policemen stand by at every corner and alley, clutching nightsticks, speaking in whispers. Their orders: be ready for anything. If a riot breaks out, contain it here. Don't let it spread beyond 115th Street. Residents peeking from curtained windows are unaware that an unofficial ring of blue has formed around them, a protective barrier as tense as the community it encircles. Night deepens. At 8:30 p.m., a signal. A shrill whistle cuts through the summer air. From the east end of 115th Street, about 25 young men emerge in formation. They carry long wooden sticks wrapped in newspaper-crude weapons concealed as innocent parcels. Neighbors who spot them feel their hearts skip. This must be the rumored gang. The youths march briskly toward Lenox Avenue, eyes scanning the tenements. For a few seconds, it's eerily quiet, the calm before the break of chaos. Suddenly, a roar of shouts erupts. Now! Get 'em! From all sides, police officers charge in, whistles trilling and clubs raised. Inspector Ryan's trap is sprung. The youths at the center freeze in shock. They've run straight into an ambush. As uniforms converge from 4 directions, the invaders scatter in panic. Some sprint back east the way they came. Others dash into open doorways of apartment buildings, desperate to slip away. A few scale fire escape ladders with desperate agility, climbing toward the rooftops. Instantly, the block is in mayhem. A tangle of running figures, yelled commands, and the percussion of police boots pounding pavement. Chaos spills into the buildings. On one tenement roof, panicked teenagers knock over piles of bricks, left by builders or stored as trash, in their scramble to escape. Bricks clatter and rain down onto the street, shattering on the sidewalk. Below, an officer diving after a fleeing boy has to leap back to avoid the falling debris. On the street, the original crowd of youths has fragmented. 2 young men dart around a corner only to be clotheslined by a burly patrolman. Another trio disappears into a narrow alley with officers in hot pursuit. The once quiet block is now a cacophony of angry shouts and slamming doors. As the police struggle to corral the fleeing gang, Harlem's residents wake up to the commotion. Windows fly open, dozens of people spill out of their homes despite the danger. Within minutes, more than 2,000 curious and concerned onlookers have flooded 115th Street, turning it into a churning sea of humanity. People shout in English and Spanish, asking, "¿Qué pasa?" What's happening? Some brave or foolhardy souls try to get between police and the teenagers. Whether to protect their own kids or just to see the action, no one is sure. The sheer crush of bystanders slows down the police efforts dramatically. In the confusion, many fleeing teens vanish into the crowd, melting away as if they were never there. Up on the rooftops, officers carefully comb through the darkness. A couple of youths who thought they'd found sanctuary behind a chimney are discovered and yanked back toward the fire escape ladder. One, a 16-year-old, swings his paper-wrapped stick wildly, but a policeman knocks it from his hand. Down on the street, other officers form a line, gently but firmly pushing the frenzied crowd back to clear space. It takes all of 30 minutes for the police to restore a semblance of order on the block. The result, 3 teenage instigators are definitively caught and arrested. The rest have slipped away into the night. Those 3, Antonio Santos, Peter de Jesus, and James Monor, each just 16, are marched to the station in handcuffs, charged with disorderly conduct. Miraculously, no one is killed. A few bruises and scrapes are recorded, but Harlem's one-block riot ends without the bloodbath many had feared. As patrol wagons arrive to take the arrested youths away, the remaining crowd on 115th Street finally begins to disperse. Slowly, the throng disperses once it's clear the invasion is thwarted. In the aftermath, the street lies littered with debris, crumpled newspapers that once hid sticks, a dropped flat cap, shards of glass from a broken upstairs window. Police officers remain on guard through the night, patrolling the block to ensure no retribution or second attempt materializes. By dawn, calm has fully returned, and Harlem awakens to news headlines about a Harlem riot quelled by police reserves. For Harlem, this close call was a wake-up sign. In the days after, community leaders urged calm and tried to address the underlying grievances, at least in conversation. The larger issues of overcrowding and job scarcity remained unsolved, but the immediate crisis passed. Among residents of 115th Street, the memory of that tumultuous summer night lingered long after the headlines faded. Many old-timers would recall how only a swift, strategic response kept their neighborhood from descending into a much worse disaster. The one-block riot of 1926 faded into a historical footnote, later eclipsed by far larger Harlem riots in 1935 and 1943. Yet it stands as a vivid example of how quickly long-standing frictions can ignite, and how decisive action can douse flames before they engulf a community. Harlem's Renaissance in the 1920s is often remembered for its art and music, but that night revealed the tension beneath the glamour. This one-block confrontation, contained by the narrowest margin, reminds us how fragile urban harmony can be, and how a community's fate can turn on a few crucial moments.